Imagine standing on a beautiful beach, the sun warm on your skin, waves crashing gently at your feet. The scene feels perfect, a slice of paradise that seems untouched by the world's problems. But look closer. Tiny, colorful specks are scattered in the sand, hidden among the grains. They catch the sunlight, but they're not seashells or natural treasures. This isn't confetti from a celebration. It's plastic, remnants of bottles, bags, and packaging that have broken down over time. This scene is everywhere, from crowded city beaches to the most remote islands on Earth. No place is truly untouched. Our planet has a plastic problem, and it's massive. Every year, millions of tons of plastic waste are produced, and much of it ends up polluting our environment. We notice bottles and bags floating in the ocean, but the real threat is what we can't see, microplastics, which are even more dangerous because they're invisible to the naked eye. These tiny fragments are the ghosts of all the plastic we've ever used. They're what's left after years of sun, wind, and waves break larger pieces down. They're so small they float in water, drift in the air we breathe, and mix into the soil where our food grows. Microplastics are everywhere, moving through the world in ways we're only beginning to understand. Scientists have found them on Mount Everest, the highest point on Earth, and in the Mariana Trench, the deepest part of the ocean. No ecosystem is safe. Microplastics are now in our homes, our food, and even our bodies. They've been detected in drinking water, table salt, and even the air inside our houses. Plastic began as a miracle, strong, light, cheap, and durable. It changed the world, making life more convenient and products more affordable. But its durability is also its curse. It doesn't disappear. Instead, it lingers for centuries, slowly breaking into smaller and smaller pieces. Every toothbrush, straw, and bottle cap ever made is still here, breaking into smaller pieces but never truly going away. Each item adds to the growing problem. For decades, we used plastic without thinking about the consequences. Single-use plastics became part of daily life, thrown away after just minutes of use. Most plastic isn't recycled. It ends up in landfills, burned, or scattered in the environment. Only a small fraction is ever reused. Now, we're living with the results of our plastic habit. Our rivers, oceans, and cities are filled with plastic waste, affecting wildlife and our own health. The real problem isn't just what we see, it's the trillions of tiny pieces we can't. These invisible particles are everywhere, silently spreading through our world. This story is about exploring the invisible world of microplastics and what we can do about it. Together, let's dive in and discover how we can make a difference before it's too late. What are microplastics? Simply put, they're plastic pieces smaller than 5 millimeters, sometimes as tiny as dust. They come in all shapes: fibers, spheres, jagged fragments. There are two main types, primary and secondary. Primary microplastics are made small on purpose, like microbeads in face wash or nurdles used in manufacturing. Secondary microplastics come from larger plastics breaking down: bottles, bags, even car bumpers. Our clothes are a huge source. Washing synthetic fabrics releases thousands of plastic fibers into the water. These particles travel easily, by water, wind, even rain and snow. Microplastics are found everywhere: oceans, rivers, mountaintops, and even the air we breathe. They're in our food, our water, and our environment. Understanding where they come from is the first step to stopping them. The challenge is huge, but knowing the source gives us power. Let's see just how much is out there. The numbers are staggering. Trillions of microplastic particles float in our oceans. These tiny fragments, often invisible to the naked eye, drift through every current and wave, spreading across the globe. They come from broken down bottles, bags, and even our clothes, making their way into every corner of the sea. Some studies say there are more microplastics in the ocean than stars in our galaxy. Imagine looking up at the night sky, seeing countless stars, and realizing there are even more plastic particles swirling in the water below. It's a comparison that's hard to wrap your mind around, but it shows just how widespread the problem is. Imagine every gallon of water in a bathtub filled with thousands of plastic specks. That's our oceans, lakes, and rivers. No matter where you look, from the surface to the deepest depths, these particles are present. Even the water we use at home can contain traces of microplastics, showing how deeply they've infiltrated our environment. Microplastics have been found in 100% of mussels tested in the UK and in everyday foods like salt, sugar, and honey. These tiny plastics are making their way into our meals, often without us even knowing. They're not just in seafood. Almost anything that comes from the environment can be contaminated. The average person might be eating a credit card's worth of plastic every week. That's about 5 grams. Imagine swallowing a piece of plastic the size and weight of a credit card week after week, just from the food and water you consume. Microplastics aren't just in water, they're in the air too. Every breath we take can carry microscopic plastic fibers, floating invisibly around us both indoors and outdoors. Car tires, carpets, and furniture shed plastic dust we breathe in daily. Every time we drive, walk on a rug, or clean our homes, tiny plastic particles are released into the air, adding to the invisible load we inhale. Scientists have found microplastics in city air and even in remote mountains. No place is untouched, not even the most isolated peaks or pristine wilderness. These particles travel on the wind, crossing continents and oceans. Soil is contaminated too. Microplastics from landfills and wastewater affect plant growth and soil health. They can change the way soil holds water and nutrients, impacting crops and the creatures that live underground. Plants can absorb microplastics, which then enter our food chain. From the roots to the leaves, these particles can be taken up by crops, eventually ending up on our plates. From the deepest ocean to the highest mountain, from the air to the soil, our planet is becoming a plastic planet. Every ecosystem, every environment is now touched by plastic pollution, changing the world in ways we're only beginning to understand. The scale is hard to imagine, but it's real. The problem is everywhere, and it's getting worse. Unless we act, the plastic footprint on our planet will only continue to grow, affecting every living thing on Earth. If we know plastic is a problem, why is it getting worse? Because we're making more than ever. In 1950, we made 2 million metric tons. Now, it's over 400 million every year. Most of it is single-use, packaging, bottles, containers, used for minutes, lasting centuries. Over a third of all plastic is packaging, thrown away immediately. Recycling isn't the answer. Less than 10% of plastic ever produced has been recycled. Most plastics are hard to recycle, contaminated, or made from mixed materials. The rest ends up in landfills, is burned, or pollutes the environment. As production rises and recycling lags, we're trapped in a cycle of waste. All this plastic eventually breaks down into microplastics. Unless we change course, the invisible invasion will only grow. Microplastics don't stay put. They travel through the food chain and eventually make their way into our bodies, connecting the vastness of the oceans directly to us. In the ocean, tiny animals like plankton accidentally eat microplastics, mistaking them for food. These small creatures are then eaten by bigger fish, and the process continues up the food chain. With each step, plastic particles accumulate, building up in larger and larger animals. Top predators, such as dolphins and seabirds, can end up with surprisingly high levels of plastic in their bodies, since they eat many smaller animals that have already ingested microplastics. Some animals have even starved to death with stomachs full of plastic, unable to digest real food because their bellies are packed with debris. When we eat seafood, we're also eating the microplastics inside them. These tiny particles can't be seen or tasted, but they're there, hidden in the food we enjoy. But it's not just seafood. Microplastics have been found in our drinking water too, whether it comes from a bottle or straight from the tap. No matter how we try to filter it, some particles still slip through. Microplastics are also in the air we breathe, the food we eat, and even in plastic packaging that sheds tiny particles onto our meals and into our environment. Scientists have now found microplastics in human blood, deep in our lungs, and even in placentas, showing just how far these particles can travel inside our bodies. We are, quite literally, becoming part plastic. These particles are now a part of us, blending into our very biology in ways we're only beginning to understand. The journey of microplastics, from the depths of the ocean to our dinner plates and into our bodies, ultimately ends with us. We are the final stop in this invisible chain. The big question remains, what are these microplastics doing to our health? Are there risks we haven't yet discovered? Let's look at what science says so far, and what researchers are racing to find out about the effects of microplastics on our bodies. The answers are just beginning to emerge, and the story of microplastics in our lives is only starting to unfold. What are the health risks of microplastics? Science is still searching for answers, but early findings are worrying. Plastics contain chemicals like phthalates and BPA, known hormone disruptors. Microplastics can leach these chemicals into our bodies. Lab studies show microplastics can cause inflammation and physical damage to cells. They can act as sponges, absorbing other toxins like pesticides and heavy metals. When we ingest microplastics, we may also be taking in a cocktail of pollutants. The Trojan horse effect could be one of the most dangerous aspects. We don't have long-term human studies yet, but the warning signs are clear. Scientists are racing to understand the risks. One thing is certain, this is not a problem we can ignore. What can we do to fix this? Every solution has challenges. Recycling sounds great, but it's expensive, complicated, and often just delays plastic's journey to the landfill. Biodegradable plastics? Most only break down in special facilities, not in the ocean or landfill. Bans on single-use plastics help, but they're not global and only target a fraction of the problem. The real issue is that plastic is deeply woven into our economy and lives. There's no single fix. We need innovation in materials, better recycling, and strong policies. Companies must take responsibility for their products' entire life cycle. Governments must act together to reduce plastic production. We need to turn off the plastic tap, not just mop up the mess. The challenge is huge, but not impossible. Real change will take all of us. The problem is big, but your choices matter. The plastic crisis is built on billions of small decisions, so billions of better choices can solve it. Start by refusing single-use plastics. Say no to straws, bring your own bottle, use reusable bags. Choose products with less plastic packaging and opt for glass, metal, or paper when you can. Reduce hidden plastics. Wash synthetic clothes less. Use laundry bags to catch fibers, and switch to wooden cutting boards. Every small change adds up when millions join in. Use your voice. Talk to friends, share what you learn, and ask brands to use less plastic. Support companies making sustainable choices. Contact your local representatives and push for better policies. You're not just a consumer, you're a citizen. Your actions and your voice can drive real change. Together, we can make a difference. The future starts with you. The microplastics crisis is daunting, but it's not hopeless. We are innovators and problem solvers. We created plastic, and we can manage it better. Hope is action. Every reusable bag, every refused straw, every conversation is a ripple of change. We've solved big problems before, cleaning rivers, fixing the ozone layer, tackling acid rain. Now we must do the same for plastic. Awareness is growing, and more people, companies, and scientists are working on solutions. We're at a turning point. The future isn't written yet. Will we choose a world choked with plastic or one in harmony with nature? The choice is ours together. Let's be the generation that turns the tide. Let's be curious, brave, and get to work. Our planet is our only home. It's worth fighting for.